United Nations Industrial Development Organization (UNIDO) defines shared prosperity as a strategy to ensure a form of industrialization that makes opportunities accessible to all people and broadly distributes income and non-income gains across society. In Malaysia, the shared prosperity is emphasized towards equitable distribution of economy for all Malaysians across income groups, ethnicities, regions, and supply chain. Hence, E-Shared Prosperity Organization Acknowledgement Certificate (ESPO) is initiated in achieving the aspired goal of gain sharing and mutual wealth creation. ESPO is recognized by the Ministry of International Trade and Industry (MITI), Ministry of Human Resources (MOHR), and it is established by the Malaysia Productivity Corporation in line with the Shared Prosperity Vision 2030. The objective of SPV 2030 is to provide a decent standard of living to all Malaysians by the year 2030. This video will serve as a training module to guide you to understand further on the ESPO Acknowledgement Certificate, as well as the questions that you will go through when making your application for your construction organization. The first part of the module will be on the learning objectives, which will also include an explanation of what ESPO is all about, including the benefits and elements of ESPO in the construction sector. After that, we will go through the 20 questions or elements to see how you can self-evaluate your organization and register to make it an ESPO acknowledged company. If you haven't gotten some snacks and drinks ready, click on that pause button and make yourself a cup of coffee before we go into the training modules. This video aims to emulate the journey of applying for the ESPO Acknowledgement Certificate while understanding the platform providing the public information regarding ESPO and Productivity-Linked Wage System (PLWS). PLWS is a flexible wage system based on a gain-sharing method that mutually benefits both employers and employees. Implementation of this system creates a healthy, dynamic, and conducive working environment within an organization. Before we start with the training modules, what exactly is ESPO? ESPO is an online platform that issues electronic acknowledgement certificate to organizations that have successfully implemented the productivity-linked wage system. It aims to increase the outreach of PLWS adoption. This online platform was launched on the 17th of December 2020 by MITI's Deputy Secretary General Yang Berbahagia Datuk Sri Nur Azman Ayub. Since you're in tune with this e-training module, chances are you are ready to apply for the acknowledgement certificate, or maybe even just consider applying for it. Let us give you a little nudge. How does making your organization ESPO acknowledged benefit you? There are 3 different types of advantages an organization can gain once it has been acknowledged with ESPO: directly, indirectly, and future benefits. Firstly, the direct benefit. Studies indicate that companies that implement the productivity-linked wage systems shows an increase of 15% in productivity, 10% in profitability, and 10% in wages. As for the construction sector, companies that are acknowledged will receive 5 Contractor Continuous Development or CCD points. The CCD point system is a program that is designed to ensure contractors registered with CIDB are continually well-informed and knowledgeable. Another direct benefit is the employers and employees of the organization have flexibility in their compensation system, and it increases the employee's engagement with an assigned project. Indirectly, an ESPO acknowledged company enhances its business visibility, competitiveness, and standing in the marketplace. This identity will give the company an added point for the employee as it incentivizes them and ultimately enhances harmonious industrial relations. This will make the company more attractive for future talent who seek employment. As for the future benefit, an ESPO-acknowledged organization will eventually qualify for certain awards or incentives by the government bodies. The construction sector is an important sector of the Malaysian economy. For the construction sector, ESPO Acknowledgement Certificate application is evaluated in 3 components, which carries a total of 1,000 points. The first component is the bonus component, which carries 200 marks. The second component is the productivity and performance incentives, which carries 600 marks. And lastly, the skill incentive with the remaining 200 marks. The 20 productivity-linked wage system elements that you will self-evaluate are equally important and can be practiced by organizations in the construction sector to create wealth creation and wealth sharing cultures in the workplace. Let us go through each of the PLWS elements and see how your company fits in them. Starting with the bonus component, there are 6 elements or questions for us to go through. The first element of this component is to evaluate whether your company implements a profitability bonus. Generally, a profitability bonus refers to when a company sets aside a predetermined amount as a payout bonus to its employees on top of the basic salary. Take Kenanga Construction Company for example. Kenanga Construction Company generates 2.5 million ringgit in profit for the year and allocates 10% of the profit, which is 250,000 ringgit, as a bonus to pay out to its employees. Table 1.1 shows the example of a bonus rewarded to the company according to the profit after tax. Employees are eligible for 1.5 months of the basic salary as their annual bonus, since Kenanga Construction Company generates more than 2.5 million ringgit in profit for the year. Another way to calculate profitability bonus is shown in another company. Let's bring in Mawar Construction Company. Unlike Kenanga, where the predetermined bonus is according to a monthly salary, Mawar Company calculates the bonus with a predetermined value, where if they can generate between 9 to 11 million ringgit before tax. These bonuses can enhance employees' loyalty, productivity, and improve the company's hiring and retention effort. Element 2 is to evaluate whether the organization implements a company performance bonus. The company performance bonus is an extra compensation paid to an employee as a reward for reaching pre-established goals or achieving department-specific goals or targets. This allows employees to feel more engaged as they know their work holds meaning and importance in the organization. Here are 2 ways on how a company can calculate performance bonus. In Table 2.1, if the company returns on investment (ROI) is more than 100%, then employees of the company are rewarded with 1 month's salary as a yearly bonus. Table 2.2, on the other hand, shows another performance bonus based on the business plan, and employees are rewarded if the business plan target of the company is achieved. Does your company implement an employee performance bonus? Unlike Element 2, where the goal is to evaluate the company's performance, Element 3 is to calculate bonus based on employees' performance rating for that year. The screen shows how the employee is being evaluated and how the bonuses are awarded. Performance bonus will not be rewarded if the employee's performance is recorded as poor, which is the case if he or she gets less than 40% performance marks. Moving on, Element 4 is a combination of both company profitability and employee performance. Profitability and employee performance bonus is a form of additional compensation paid to an employee or department as a reward for achieving specific goals or hitting predetermined targets. Table 4.1 indicates a profitability bonus based on the average performance. If the company average performance falls under 80 to 90% and the profit is 10 million ringgit, then a bonus payment of 1 month will be rewarded. The higher the profitability and employee performance, the higher will the bonus be, as shown in the employee performance rating. In Table 4.2, we can see the share of employee performance rating based on profit before tax. If a company's revenue is more than 12 million ringgit and the employee managed to get a performance rating of more than 80%, then the employee will be rewarded with 2.1 months bonus. Does your company implement bonus based on company performance and employee performance? Generally, company performance bonuses are awarded for the achievement of the business plan, and employee bonus amounts may vary depending on the individual performance. Table 5.1 shows that if the company business plan performance manages to hit 85 to 100% and the employee can score 70 to 80%, the employee will get a 1 month bonus. In Table 5.2, we can see that if the individual can achieve project completion 1 month ahead of schedule, then project workers will be evaluated as outstanding and will get 1.6 months bonus. The last element in this bonus component is to assess if your company implements a share option. Generally, a share option is given to employees to buy shares in the company at a discounted price which is less than the market value. As Table 6.1 exhibits, staff of this company are offered share price on a call option. If the value of the stock price shows 25 ringgit, the call option for the employees will be 3 ringgit. Employees welcome share schemes as it allows them to participate financially in the company and, in some instances, get tax relief. And with that, we are done with the bonus component of the ESPO Acknowledgement Certificate for the construction sector. The next component that we will cover is the productivity or performance incentives component. There are 11 questions to cover all the elements of this component. Let's move on to the next question. Does your company provide salary increment based on employee performance? The example is shown in Table 7.1. Salary increments payment are determined through achievements of merit points, performance level, percentage-based increment, and performance increments. This table indicates the employee performance rating, and if an employee performance score is between 65 to 80%, he is entitled to 5% of the incentive. Additionally, Table 7.2 shows that if the merit points fall under good, then the base increment will be 2% with a performance increment of 6%. Element 8 is to evaluate the annual incentive given to an employee with excellent performance. This can be in the form of monetary or non-monetary incentives. Some of the examples of monetary incentives include profit sharing, project bonuses, stock options, and more. Non-monetary incentives examples are healthcare benefits, life insurance, vehicle allowances, flexible working hours, and more. Table 8.1 on the screen shows how the incentives are rewarded according to different job grades. Mr. Ghani works as a machine operator with a job grade of 4, and since he excels in his job performance, he gets an excellent rating, which entitles him to a monthly monetary incentive of 33 ringgit. In Table 8.2, we can see that Mr. Ghani's productivity achievement is rated as good, and this resulted in him being rewarded between 21 to 25% of the basic wages. The next element that will be evaluated is if your company implements activities-based incentives. These activity-based incentives are given to workers who are involved in physical hazard activities such as exposure to extreme weather conditions, work performed from heights, usage of power tools, etc., etc. These incentives are awarded to construction workers based on the agreed company's policy. Table 9.1 shows an example of how a company gives incentives according to the hazard situation that the construction worker has to go through. The next question is to check if your company provides incentive based on reduction in wastages. This element is to award the employee or quality improvement teams based on the reduction of wastages, depending on the category of workers. Table 10.1 shows the types of wastage which usually happen in the construction industry. For example, there is no over-processing of ready-mix concrete daily. The site planner's supervisor will receive an incentive of 100 ringgit based on the metric measurement performed by the quality engineer daily. We're halfway through our 20 questions for you to get acknowledged by ESPO. The second half of the elements for evaluation is just as simple and as easy as the first half. Let's move on to element 11. Does your company provide incentives based on cost and time saving? This is to see if your company will pay a certain amount of cost saving to employees as incentives. Table 11.1 and 11.2 shows monthly incentive according to cost and time saving. If a worker completes his target with no defects and reworking required, he will be paid 250 ringgit monthly for cost saving. Whereas Table 11.2 shows an example of a housing project that was completed earlier than the stipulated time and saved the company 11% time. Then, project workers are entitled to receive 250 ringgit monthly incentives. Element 12 is to evaluate if your company provides incentives based on the personal quality of a worker. Do you reward an employee who performs commendably in criteria such as attendance, absenteeism, punctuality, and discipline? In this element, employees are paid if he or she achieves of the guided personal quality criteria. Table 12.1 refers to incentives based on criteria achieved. For example, if an employee achieved 5 criteria, he or she will receive 100 ringgit as an incentive. Next, does your construction company provide productivity incentive scheme? In this section, a certain amount of incentive will be paid if the company achieves construction target work. Some construction companies provide various productivity incentive schemes to workers as a motivating reward. Take HJ Construction Company, for example. They found that the loss rate of ready-mix concrete was too high in their highway project. Upon inspection, the team found out that this was due to an inaccurate checking method. By applying the team project recommendations, the loss rate was reduced with a saving of 15.4%. Table 13.1 shows costs saved if all materials at the work site are used efficiently without wastage or over-processing. The site planner's supervisor will receive an incentive of 150 ringgit if there is no excess ready-mix concrete. The next element will be to measure if your company provides a performance incentive allowance. This incentive is for employees who have reached a maximum on their salary scale and have performed commendably during the period of review. They shall be eligible for a monthly allowance. Such allowance shall not be attached to the basic salary. Table 14.1 shows that if an employee performance rating is more than 85%, he or she will receive 60 ringgit monthly. Table 14.2, on the other hand, shows the incentive given to workers that handle the concrete machine. A maintenance technician will receive a monthly incentive of 100 ringgit if the machine efficiency is maintained between 22 to 23 hours without any breakdown. Question 15 is to evaluate if your company provides sales achievement incentives where it is rewarded to individuals or teams based on sales targets achievement. It is a way to motivate and reward personal or team-based sales performance for reaching and exceeding their sales goals. Table 15.1 shows that if the sales value achieved the target of more than 5,000 ringgit, the sales representative will then be rewarded 70 ringgit. Table 15.2 shows how the incentives are paid according to the sales quantity. If the sales representative achieves more than 5,000 ringgit, he or she will then be rewarded with 70 ringgit as a sales incentive. Does your company provide a coaching allowance? Element 16 is to measure the allowances that are paid to an employee who conducts internal training to company staff. This will motivate internal experts to conduct training. Table 16.1 shows the allowance that is paid to Megah Holdings Company internal technical assistant staff for conducting an in-house training program for site concrete machine mixture operators. Upon finishing the training program, the technical assistants will be rewarded with 30 ringgit per hour. The last element under the productivity or performance incentives component is to evaluate if your company provides other non-financial incentives. Some of the non-financial incentives are provided to employees, such as the Best Employee Award, Family Day trip incentives, and more. Table 17.1 shows some of the employee recognition awards. Essentially, this kind of recognition can also improve productivity and enhance loyalty that in time will extract better performances from the employee and positive business results. The last component in the ESPO Acknowledgement Certificate is the Skill Incentive component. This component is made up of 3 elements. The first element in this component is to check if your company provides incentives based on multi-skilling. This refers to incentives given to workers who can perform several different skills in more than one area or field. We can see from Table 18.1, if Mr. Stanley can operate both motorized wheel machines or chain machines with unloaded weight exceeding 5,000 kilograms, he will be paid an incentive of 50 ringgit monthly. Table 18.2 shows, as tractor operator, if he has the skill to operate more than 3 types of tractors, he will be paid 300 ringgit monthly. Does your company provide incentives based on multitasking? This is to evaluate if your company rewards its employees who can manage multiple responsibilities at once by focusing on one task while keeping track of others. Table 19.1 shows a residential remodeling company's worker who can perform more than one task. He paints and repairs the window. Because of this, he will be rewarded a monthly incentive of 240 ringgit. Table 19.2 reveals that if the said worker is involved in 3 extra tasks, he will be paid a 360 ringgit monthly incentive. Finally, we have reached our last element, Element 20. The question in this element is to assess whether your company provides incentives based on acknowledged skills. An employee who has credentials to show that they have specific skills or knowledge to an occupation, technology, or industry and will be able to apply the skills in the workplace and improve overall productivity. For example, Table 20.1 shows that if a construction traffic management staff has been acknowledged as dogman, his additional job scope, which includes the selection and inspection of lifting gear and directing of the crane operator, entitles him to be rewarded 100 ringgit monthly. Acknowledged skills incentives can also be used for individuals to show appreciation or give recognition for a job well done. With that, we have come to the end of our training modules. The 20 questions that we cover in this training module are simple and easy to comprehend. Hopefully, with the guidance of this video, you will be able to self-evaluate and register your company and get an ESPO acknowledgement certificate. If you are still unsure on how to take the first step, just visit www.mpc.gov.my/ESPO for more info.